Hey, what's up guys? It's Kerry again from Phoenix and Bow. I am back and thank you for joining me. I'm not too sure I'm looking at the microphone, I should be looking here at the camera. It's been some time since I've done a video and really the main reason for that is because of COVID-19 and also I might have changed my day job, which is kept me quite busy. But thank you for joining me. I thought I would check in with you, see how everybody is, and share a review of a brand new razor that I received in the post yesterday. Today is Saturday, 4th of July, and yesterday in the post I received a small parcel from Karve Shaving Company, who manufacture brass safety razors over in Canada. I'll get to that in a moment, okay? But this video really is me checking in to say hi, that we are still here, it's still super busy, and I'll talk a bit about really what we've been up to in the last few months, because I think it's been a few months since I did my last video, so sorry for that. So have a look at the Karve shaving razor, which is the Christopher Bradley razor, and let me take you through what I'm going to use outside of that particular piece of hardware. So in no particular order, I thought I would go with my larger 30mm Phoenix and Bow or Cadman bow synthetic. This kind of metallic pearlescent gold that's within the handle kind of complements, I think, the Christopher Bradley razor. So I thought that was probably a nice choice of razor to use. Nice choice of brush even, it's not a razor. And then for the actual shave itself, software, kind of feeling like a bit of a brute type shave. I'm not feeling like a brute. I felt like a brute type inspired shave. So our Right Hand Giant, which was a 2019 limited edition, will do that for me. Lovely. There's always something creamy. There's almost like a creamy note to that edge to it as it's kind of matured. It's lovely. Classic not barbershop, but old school barbering scent. Kind of reminds me of the 1980s when I was a young lad and my older brothers used to splash on a bit of Brute and things like Blue Stratos, Blue Stratos, Brute, and the classic Old Spice. But yeah, it kind of takes me back to the 80s. And Brute itself as the splash, and our Right-Handed Giant post-shave lotion. In the razor, I was getting desperately low on blades themselves, so I got myself 100 Astra Platinum double-edge razors, which cost me about £9 off Amazon, which is just a staggering deal. The reading that I've done, I don't think I've used them before, the reading that I've done says that they are a very good razor. That's them in their little box. So I've plonked a brand new one of those into the Christopher Bradley, which leads me nicely on to something which I think it takes top spot for me in terms of aesthetics, how it feels, how it looks, how it's been manufactured. My favourite razor, I think, previously for looks, it's really tough, isn't it? I've always thought that the Blackland Dart is a really smart looking razor, but there is no but. They're not in a negative sense, but it's a very modern looking razor, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just very almost there's something kind of aeronautical about it. It's still a great looking razor. However, this turned up and has taken its place. Now, I'm not so sure. Let me see if I can get it to focus on that. Come on, focus. It's not got to focus. Oh, there we go. I think it's got it. Man, the finish on, I mean, firstly, it's brass, okay? A brass razor, which is quite different. And just the way it's been finished, Jack did tell me, one of the guys that works at Karve, he did tell me about how they finish it. I won't guess at the words that he used. In my mind, I'm thinking some sort of shot blasting or something like that. I'm not entirely certain. I'll look it up and I'll post it in the video. But it kind of gives like a matte type finish. But there's something more to it than just being matte in texture. It's quite, you've got to, hopefully you can kind of get a feel for it there. You can spec this in all sorts of ways. And when I was chatting to him, I was a little bit kind of lost for the number of options. But I ended up going with a razor where the top cap comes over. There's a slight overhang there on my razor. I didn't want anything sticking out of the ends in terms of the actual blade. It wouldn't do that because you can see there's plenty of width on the razor head. And this is a C plate. I'm going to do it. Now, interestingly, Karve use you can see it there, a little black washer, just so that they don't get metal on metal rubbing. There it is. And that's the C plate. First time I've used this, so I'm not sure what to expect. It looks very comfortable. It certainly feels very comfortable in the hand. It's a nice weight. It feels, there we go, nicely balanced and just nicely put together and thought out. So I'm really excited to use this. Right, okay, let's get on with things. It's late in the evening here in Hertfordshire. So yeah, I've been looking forward to this shave all day. Got a few days growth. Yeah, a good few days growth there. Today I had my hair cut for the first time in 3 months. Haircut by a barber, that is, and not by me or Sarah, who frankly hasn't shown much interest in cutting my hair. She would just do the back and my neckline, and that would be about it, and leave me to do the rest. So yeah, good to get a cut, skin fade on the side and the back. Yeah, I have to keep it short and neat, given that it's thinning out and receding. So short and neat is a good thing for me. Anyhow, I'm blathering on. Let's get on with the shave. So tons to talk about. We've been so busy since lockdown, and what a strange time lockdown's been. What a strange time it's been, you know, since COVID-19 kind of hit. I remember, I think it was the week before it kind of really started to break, certainly in the UK, and I was watching a video on the Joe Rogan Experience on YouTube, who I really enjoy watching. And he had, his guest on that particular interview was some North American scientist who works in their centre for, you know, infectious diseases and pandemics and that type of thing. And he was really stressing this guy about, look, you know, this isn't going to go away overnight. This should be viewed as something more as like a season, in that it's going to be here with us for months. And it was at that point, it was kind of low-level news in the UK. Wasn't really being taken that seriously in the press. Certainly not at work for me. You know, and people didn't even really know its name, coronavirus. And then the following week it broke, and the world changed, right? So, sorry, I've just got a battery wind there. It's just been very, very unusual time, that's for sure. A lot of people have really struggled with it. I I don't mean those who've been, fortunate enough to be affected by it in terms of employment or income or ability to support themselves, but their mental health. Just putting all of those things to one side, dealing with being told you've got to get in your house and you can't go and see loved ones and friends and other family members, and you shouldn't be travelling to work, you shouldn't be going to work. Really unprecedented, really. So, yeah, hence why, I say interesting times. So for us, like a lot of you, we've had to homeschool our children. When I say we, I really mean Sarah, because I've continued to work, and she's been an absolute boss, and I really admire her so much, because I've always thought if I had my time again, what would I want to do? And one of the things is I always thought, I'd love to be a teacher, and I do like teaching people. I've qualified as a mountain bike skills coach years ago, and I've qualified as a MoveNap instructor a couple of years ago. So I've kind of dabbled in things, and I like speaking to people, and I like interaction, with people on like a social scale. But evidently, that's with grown-ups. And I love my children dearly, obviously. However, I'm not a very good teacher of children. I don't have the patience. It is very clear. And Sarah's she's managed that. She's managed running Phoenix and Mo. She's managed our household. Hence why I say she's an absolute boss. And I just really take my hat off to her. So yeah, how have you got on with getting through the pandemic? I know people who have had it. People who are in their, one guy's late 30s, my boss at work, late 30s. A friend of mine, he's a very strong and fit and healthy 57-year-old, maybe 58, but very, very keen cyclist, strong guy. He had it, and he took his blood oxygen levels, saturation levels, and it dropped down to it was getting on the cusp of being quite dangerous, where he was that close to taking himself off to hospital. Luckily, he didn't have to, but he said it was like a bone-jarringly painful flu, and he lost his sense of smell and his sense of taste. So just bloody awful. Anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about COVID-19, because I suppose we're all sick to the back teeth of it. But it was really just to kind of touch upon it and say that, it's certainly been unusual times. It's impacted upon our business in that we've been unable to get the releases out that we intended to so far this year. Lots of limited editions, Sovereign formula, the vegan formula, all of those good things are going to have to wait realistically until we get through to September. So we're going to get the summer holidays out of the way, get both the girls back to school, and then fingers crossed, we can kind of resume normal service and get all of that awesomeness out, released and available for you. So anyhow, more importantly, what is this razor like? So this is my very first time, genuinely my very first time I've used it. I'm just going to get stuck in and go for it. Wow. So initial impressions, extremely smooth and comfortable. Wow. His blades are lovely as well. Yeah, very comfortable. just riding the safety bar a little bit at the moment, just to kind of find that sweet spot. Lovely, really nice razor this. Super comfortable, very smooth. I thought it would be smooth just because of the kind of the rounded profile of the top cap and the safety bar. It just looks really, there's nothing sharp about it apart from the bloody razor blade, but you know, the actual razor itself, it's very, you can see the profile there properly, comfy looking, and it is very comfortable. Very comfy. I keep saying that, it is a very comfortable razor. It feels very forgiving. I think it'd be good for somebody who's new to wet shaving. So speaking of business then, we have all those things coming out really late summer now, early autumn. We have been very thankful for everybody's support, your support. If you have been generous enough, you know, to buy any of our products, we've got through, we've weathered the pandemic. Thanks to your support. So thank you very much. We are extremely grateful. Super impressive. That's a great first pass, really good. Very forgiving razor. Kind of highlights for me so far. See how it does on the second pass. So I now work in London, and I do the commute in and out of town, which has given me a great opportunity to read more, or rather use the Amazon application Audible. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. I have like half an hour each way in and out of London, which is either really good to wake up going into town, or really good just to kind of decompress from the day. My new job involves a lot of reading and kind of consideration of how various policies and things like that are landed with different teams. So mentally, I'm quite tired each day. I'm well spent, satisfied. It's a great job, very interesting. I'm really enjoying myself. So that half hour at the end of the day on the train is a really nice opportunity just to kind of zone out a little bit, relax, and listen to a good book. So I have used the last few months. I thought I'd get more done. I really enjoy my music, so I've been listening to a lot of music also. But I've got a list here of, what have we got? 5 books. Done 5 books so far. Some short ones, some really long ones. So I've done, in no particular order, I've done Mythos by Stephen Fry. Excellent book. And he is such a great orator. Really brilliant book. I really enjoyed that. Old Man's War by John Scalzi. Again, I mean, all of these books are awesome. I've enjoyed every single one of them. The Graveyard book by Neil Gaiman. What else do we have? Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Very interesting. Really, that book could be summarised in the following way, which is sleep more. That's kind of the repeating message. Go to bed at a regular time and try and get 8 hours each night. If you don't do that, bad things happen to your body. And then it is a very interesting book, but he talks about how we evolved to sleep and why some of us are early birds, why some of us are night owls, and essentially it boils down to when we used to go around in tribes. For the security of the tribe, we benefited as a species from some people being able to stay up late all night, and others being able to function effectively very early in the morning. So you've got greater coverage of alert human beings, essentially, so that bears and predators found it a bit more difficult to get us. So that's been a good book, but yeah, really, the takeaway is you should sleep more. Until the End of Time is another book. I saw that recommended. I saw the author, a guy called, I think he's a Professor Brian Greene, being interviewed by Joe Rogan. And he just seemed really super interesting. And I like the sound of his book. I think I understood I think I understood possibly a third, maybe a half of the book. And he does his best to describe it in layman's terms. But some of the thoughts, some of the concepts, I think he's a theoretical physicist of sorts. Just some of the concepts were incredible, but just a staggering book. A really good book and exercise for perspective and recognizing our place in the universe, which is minute. So I am now looking for another book to read. Any recommendations that you might have, please pop them in the comments below. I kind of go for science fiction, fantasy. I don't mind a bit of military history, but they tend to be my kind of go-to genres. So if you've got any recommendations, please feel free to suggest away. All right, really enjoying this shave. It's been a while since I've had a 3-part shave. Lovely. So training-wise, I've had a bit of a step change really in my movement practice. I have, now that I work more regular hours, Monday to Friday, I know where I am. I have every other weekend is a long weekend off. I have all my weekends off. I used to be a shift worker. I don't do that anymore. So this new routine is firstly awesome, really good for the family. We can plan more effectively. I'm home every evening in time for tea, sometimes a little bit late, but generally around about there. And it means I can just train more consistently. I don't need to be carrying... when I was in my previous job, which was as a police officer, I kind of felt it necessary to be a bit more muscled. So I focused a bit more on my kettlebell routine, just because some of the people that we dealt with weren't particularly nice. So, I've got a few nicks here. That's my own sloppiness. I don't think it's anything to do with this lovely razor. But certainly nothing to do with the razor. The razor is gorgeous. But anyway, yeah, so movement practice. I've kind of rediscovered my love of cycling. I've been a cyclist all my life since I was about 4 years old. And I'm getting a lot more in. So I cycle in and out of London. And I'm getting usually one good long ride in on the weekend on my mountain bike. And I've recently treated myself to a gravel bike, which I got yesterday. And I've had a couple of teething problems with it, namely a puncture in the rear tyre. My own tardiness, not taking a kit out with me. I was too excited, I just need to get out. I was 20 minutes into my ride and I got a flat through the rear, and I've looked at it and a sharp piece of stone has basically cut through the tyre and punctured the inner tube. Not happy with the tyre. They're a bit shoddy, really, and I'm going to complain to the company who are WTB, Wilderness Terrain Bikes. It's their Riddler 37C tyre, which is the width of it, and it's a standard road size, so 700C wheel. 20 minutes into the ride, and it, it's just zero puncture resistance in these tyres. So I'm a bit pissed at how flaky those tyres are. So anyway, I've got some new wheels, some 650B wheels, which, if you don't know what that means, standard road wheel is known as 700C, 29 inches in diameter. 650B is a mountain biking term for a 27.5 inch, so a smaller diameter wheel. And what that means is that you can get a fatter and a wider tyre on it, so more comfort, more traction. Happy days, because the current tyres are quite narrow and not overly comfortable, if I'm honest. But then again, I'm a mountain biker, and I'm using this bike, which is a gravel bike, which is supposed to be one bike to rule them all on the road and off-road, albeit light off-road. But so far, it hasn't stood up to a very light ride that I did on it yesterday. So it hasn't got off to the most auspicious of starts. But anyhow, I've kind of got sidetracked there. I'm riding more. I've leaned up a bit. I've deliberately lost about 8 or 9 pounds, quite a chunk of weight. So I used to weigh nearly 15 stone, and I am low 14s, 14 stone 2, thereabouts. And I feel a lot better for it. On the bike, definitely. Just a bit trimmer. So yeah, all good. I start each day now with some yoga, which I'm really just benefiting from, because I spend a lot of time at my desk at work. I've always have done for 18 years or so. I've flown a desk of some sort. Tight hamstrings, tight lower back, neck problems, bad posture, all those things. I'm very mindful of that and frequently try to combat it. Starting my day with like 5 minutes, several minutes of stretching, of yoga, I'm really benefiting from. Okay, that's the shave. Beautiful, very comfortable. Oh, lovely, slick, smooth shave. Very easy shave. Didn't have to think about using that razor. There's nothing fiddly about dialing it in. First time I've ever used it. An absolute cinch to use. Karve, I commend your efforts. You've done an absolutely sterling job in making something, one, which is beautiful, and 2, feels lovely in the hand, and 3, shaves like an absolute dream. I posted on our Instagram account this morning an image which had this in it, showed the image which had this in it, and somebody commented about, I'm thinking about going for the Christopher Bradley. Well, I would say go for it. Treat yourself. I don't think you'd be sorry. That is a exquisite razor. There we go. Right, so that kind of concludes the shave. Not too bad there, tiny little nick, nothing serious. A little bit of lotion, I think. Yeah, so there we go. It's been a few months, hasn't it? It's been ages since I checked in and seen you. But we're all good. We're busy, but we're good. We're fit. We're healthy. We're strong. The small one, our youngest daughter, is back at school, which is brilliant. The big one, who is 9, is not back at school because the rules, and she will return in September. So we have the good fortune of having a couple of weeks left before we break for summer holidays, and then business will slow a little bit just because it impacts on our ability to work. I will be working during that period, so really it kind of forced Sarah to take care of our babies. Not that they're babies anymore. But then once we get out the other side of the summer holidays, we will be firing everything up again and working damned hard to get Sovereign and Vegan out. So lots to get done this year, lots to get done. That's enough of my meandering, waffling catch up. I hope you're very well. I hope you're training well, as always. I hope you're looking after yourself, taking care of your body inside and out, and also, enjoying good shaves, but looking after yourself in here, looking after your well-being and your mental health. You've got to look after the whole thing, haven't you? So I hope you're good in all of those areas. As always, thank you very much for watching. Shave right, feel brilliant.